what's important is when you're doing the form is to really take your time and make sure it's clear what each motion you're doing is. So add a little pause after every motion. In the grading, it's all about presenting your skills, so it's very important that you don't rush through it. You do it nice and relaxed, you take your time with it, and you really just get in the zone, because when you're doing the form you need to just get in that zone, look straight ahead and just feel what's going on and take your time, break down each motion, make it really clear every shape that you're doing. A couple of things I want you guys to look out for when you're doing it is your first, number one, when you pull your hands back, your hand placement. So make sure that your elbows aren't sticking out, your hands aren't dropped down. You want to make sure that everything's nice and tidy. So when you pull your hands back, you have to imagine like you're pulling the string on a bow, so there's still tension there, so it's ready to strike. So don't, when you're doing the form with one hand, let the other hand totally relax and forget about what's going on. Your body's relaxed, but there's tension, there's a slight tension in all your body because you're always ready to move. So make sure you maintain that when you're doing your form. Also, when you're doing your tan sail, your foot sail, make sure your elbows aren't coming up and they're staying down, tucked in, down by your sides, their natural position. And don't forget, the most important part is how you end it. You have to finish it like you started it. So when you close off at the end, make it clear that you're closing off. And again, a slight pause once you push your hands down. So now we're going into our clinching. So we're going for all our different clinches. And what I want you guys to focus on when you're doing it is getting control with the clinch. So you're not just putting it on anymore, you're not just getting in the position, but you're actually using the clinch to take their center of balance. So this is really important. So when you're doing it together, you're both kind of jockeying for positions and you're trying to get that person's center of balance. So when you're putting a Mangensau on, you need to think about the control with your forearm, which way you can take them, how you can keep your structure while you're doing it, but how you can take their structure and take their balance. So the first one we're going to do is our clinch, our head control, Mangensau and wrist control. When you get your Mangensau on, make sure that you're reaching all the way through before you take control of the head. When you grab the base of their skull, it's a better controlling position. When you get the wrist control, just like we did in the form earlier, make sure you take their wrist all the way down, so you extend your hand all the way out. When we go through it, we're going to start off on the spot, then we're going to add the pivots in, so we're going to add some rotation in, and then what we're going to do is start adding steps, and then after freestyle. So you've got to progress from being able to do something on the spot to being able to do something freestyle, so you can just move around in any direction and you can feel free enough and keep your body pliable enough to still do it while you're moving. So you can see when we're doing the motion, especially just pivoting on the spot, you're using your hips to pivot and lead the motion and let your arms quite naturally go into the Mangensau as well as get the wrist control. So when you pivot like that, your arm naturally goes forward and comes back. So that's what you're using when you're doing this motion. To power the movement, you're using your whole torso. So when you do that, you can take your time with it and make sure you feel where the motion's starting and where it's ending. Once you add the steps in, then you can see that we're going to have to use the Mangensau differently. So when we step forward, you want to use your forearm once you've got the head control to drive that person off balance. When you're going back, you have to think about again what parts you're going to be using. So if you're stepping back with it, then you're going to be using the pulling motion of your elbow, drawing back more, and the wrist control to turn them and take them off balance. Right, now we're going to do double Mangensau. So when we do that, it's important that you're reaching one hand all the way through and then the other hand cups that hand. So you cup one hand with your other hand. So you've really got good control. Think of using your forearms to control the person and to have contact with them so you can feel what's going on. With this clinch, it's important that when you're getting it on, when you get it through because you're rotating together, don't try and stay square on. Angle your body off to reach your arm through if someone's keeping their elbows in really tight. Create the space yourself and make yourself smaller basically so that you're able to get through. When we get to 3 for 3, you should already start to be feeling comfortable with it. You should already start to be at a certain level with it where you feel free to move around, strike comfortably and have nice, light, nimble footwork as well. The most important thing for your 3 for 3 is your rhythm and timing, because you don't want to get stuck in a rhythm. I don't want to just be going 1, 1, 1 with my strikes. You your opponent's going to read that very easily and you'll never get them. So if you can keep mixing up that rhythm, for example, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you can keep mixing up your rhythm like that, opponents are going to find it very hard to read what's going on, and it keeps the drill alive as well. Another thing that's very important in your 3 for 3 is combining your strikes together. Yeah, because now we're looking at making combinations that complement each other. So it's totally up to you guys what kind of combinations and stuff that you like, that you want to put together. One of the fun parts of it is kind of making up your own combinations and making up your own sort of special moves and finding out what works for you. And like with the other drills before, start off on the spot, then add a bit of footwork in, and then start moving around freestyle. Again, you have to progress up to being able to do it freestyle as well and just move around freely, because that's how you're going to use it, you know. And the drills are there at the beginning to build you up in each motion, and then you need to be able to build up to that freestyle. Yeah, so take your time with it, warm up on the spot, then add in a couple steps, and then just move around freely, add it in, try it out. A good way of keeping your opponent on their toes, as soon as you've received them 3 strikes, boom, straight back. Go straight back, come straight back at them. Yeah, because they just won't be prepared. Remember that you're most vulnerable when you're striking or when you're basically reaching out with any part of your body part. That's when you're really your most vulnerable. When you're both at a certain distance and you're controlling the distance, you're quite safe. So that's an important point for both of you, the striker as well, making sure that just because you're striking, you're not forgetting about your evading, about being able to, every time you throw a strike, that you're not standing there on the spot and you're not going to get hit back. Because even though it's a drill 3 for 3, later on when you're doing the free sparring, you need to be ready for that, and it's better to prepare now in 3 for 3 than when you're in free sparring